hope what I'm wearing today doesn't offend anybody, and I hope what I'm about to say doesn't offend anybody, because I guarantee you it does. But if it offends you, you didn't know Leon McQueen. Good friends are worth more than money in the bank, and Leon was definitely a good friend to all of us. In 1957, 15 years before I was born, Mr. Leon became not just a good friend, but he became family to me and my family. It was 15 years before I was born. He was 25 years old and my daddy was 14. Leon was selling feed to my grandfather, Thomas Ewell Jones. And my dad, Don Jones, was best friends with Mr. Leon. There was a cold, dreary day when Leon left in a hurry like he normally did, when he left his sleeve at home and he was just in a t-shirt. And he was making his rounds to all the farmers, checking the quantity of feed that they had, and he was climbing up and down those feed bins. And my grandfather came out there and said, "Leon, you look cold." And he said, "Yeah, I left my sleeve at the house. Do you have a sleeve for me?" He said, "Leon, let's go to the house by the heater and make some coffee and talk about them damn Democrats." When I was 17, I started listening to Rush Limbaugh because Leon told me to. And 5 days a week after the Rush Limbaugh program, in the evening, Leon would call me. And we would talk about the day's events and the Clintons and the country and all politics. I didn't appreciate it till Leon schooled me and how important it was. And I am thankful for that. That fool's gonna kill somebody. One day me and Dad were late. We were coming to a Fifth Sunday singing with Leon, and we were on that little back road headed back toward the woods. And we were flying, we were late. We had made a mile or two down that road where it gets real curvy out of Haywood. And this car flew up behind us. Wasn't room for him to pass. He was on our tail, Dad was driving, and I was riding. And he continually tried to pass. And it was 5 or 6 miles before he could pass. And he flew around in a curve. We were doing about 80. He was rolling. And as the car passed, Dad said, "That fool's gonna kill somebody." And we looked over and it was Leon. He beat us there. When Leon was out of the Marines and went to work, one of the first places he went to work was Camback Burkett. And I don't know if it was Mr. Camback or Mr. Burkett, but before Leon went to work, they were selling 2 trainload cars of feed a week. A couple months later, they were selling 12 trainload cars of feed a week. And his boss said, "Leon, you're doing so good, I'm gonna buy you a car. What kind of car do you want?" I believe it was a Buick. Leon said, "I want a Buick." And Mr. Camback said, "I'm a Ford man, I hate Buicks. I've sworn I would never buy a Buick, but you've sold so much feed for us, let's go." And he went and bought Leon a Buick. You remember what kind of car that was? I don't either. If I've heard that story once, I've heard that story 1,000 times.
I do know that he asked him if he wanted an air conditioner, and he said no. And he refused an air conditioner.
I have heard the last couple of days, and I've gone through videos and audio. I have made it a point to record Leon. He was another dad to me, and I thought the world of him. And I have heard stories of the old silver-looking stepside, and Leon driving it, coming to Steve one day and saying there was something wrong with that truck. Come to find out, it has a governor on it, and it cuts off at 100 miles an hour. Leon definitely had a heavy foot. There's no telling how many miles he traveled around the state selling feed. I know he drank a lot of coffee, because everywhere he would go, they would offer him coffee. And Leon talked so much, he couldn't just have 1 cup and stop and leave. He would have 2 or 3 cups. I would bet he probably drank 50 to 100 gallons of coffee some days. His nephew said last night, that's the first time he's ever seen Leon shut up. I was looking at the Marine uniform and thinking he probably shut up for that drill sergeant a time or two, but he had to do all kind of push-ups. And I was thinking in terms of his driving, of how much a saint Miss Nell really was. Because in latter years, they would go to the doctor, which was an all-day event. And part of the reason it was an all-day event is because Leon had to stop and visit with all those people that he would sell feed to. Invariably, every week or two when Leon would come to our place, I would pray that my mom was home to entertain her, because otherwise she would be sitting in the car for an hour and a half or 2 hours while Leon was visiting. And I'm sure it was that way everywhere that they went. Treasures. Leon had lots of treasures. He was a combination of Sanford and Son, Hoarders, and American Pickers. And he knew everything that he had. A lot of the reason Leon was late everywhere he went is because there is no telling how many times he stopped on the road to put gas in somebody's car or to fix a flat tire. And I would bet that was a large part of the reason he was late everywhere he went. But his saying that you've probably all heard a million times, good friends are worth more than money in the bank. To have good friends, you have to be a good friend. And Leon was definitely a good friend. He didn't care if you were Republican or Democrat. He would try to sway you. But he come from a different time. A time when it didn't matter what somebody believed, they all got along. And if I've seen anybody embody that in taking care of people, watching out for people, and helping people, it was Leon McQueen. I'm very glad that I knew him as a friend, and that he enriched not just my life, but everybody's life that he come across. I've always said that Leon, up until the last year or two as he started going down, knew and remembered everybody he met since he was 4 years old. And I truly believe that he did. But he didn't do that by mistake. He became a friend to them. And he did not forget you. And if you met him, you did not forget him. And I'm very grateful for Leon. I'm grateful for his family. And thank you all for coming and showing support today. We love you. And we love you, Leon.
All the gates, yeah.
One time I bought 20 some odd of them gates like that for $25 a piece up there when my old friend bought that place up there by the church.
Uh-huh.
Well, see, front of them had that barn there, and he had all them gates.
Uh-huh.
And he told me, he said, if you want them for $25 a piece, you can have all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought 20, I think it was 27